Let me postulate a carefully planned examination of the rigorously tested determination of reality and the fact that, well, you are somewhere else that you ought not to be, and the preliminary evidence is the sound design of someone to distinguish the false concept of illusion, and that the future is somewhere far off, so you might as well not be worried about it. Because this is what the philosophers wonder about, is that the split dimension of your multi-personality of self between past, present, and future is a reference to Plato and the puzzle that is a seriously receiving attention span of self. Because, well, you're lost in a metaphor and you're drinking. You're drinking from the well at the world's end of the lifetime that is so big, and the context of the vision is trapped in the notes of a crescendo that's never streaming off itself, because the stress is included in the sound and the smell and the taste of the textiles of every sensation that your everyday operations are trapped within. You haven't received your mental objective yet, and this is the dream, the stimulus of your reality, and the hypothesis that, well, the springboard of every adaptation of your memory to self to future is lived in the present, and nothing else matters. So the argument is, well, you better consign your mind to sleep, and not sedation, but just a relaxing mechanism wherein you'll become more reliable, more true to chivalry, and maybe you would attempt some perseverance on behalf of someone else, instead of the illusion of, well, the pop culture use of everyone else. And the Tweedledee-dum king of the red right hand will strike you down after the big band turns off and changes the channel like the master plan, and the legend of the awakening is something different, other than, well, Zelda. The perception of a dreamer in an open state, and the Matrix also deals with this. It's an enormous machine and a system used by bioelectricity and the biometrics of everyone into human slavery, and the connection of everyone from everywhere else, and everything and everywhere is breaking, but, well, it's breaking, and boy, that, well, let's move on, shall we? The Twilight Zone plays a shadow parody on the fact that the Inception deals with the cognitive fiction of, well, science and sharing dreams. And this is the reality, is no one else is sharing your lifetime but you in the moment with whoever you're standing beside. People might be thinking about you in a Total Recall Blade Runner kind of way, but, well, that's a Gears of Metal Solid Sons of what? A Liberty is exploring the protagonist of Raiden and some sort of external dimension. This is a sense of reality that is perceived truly as a circle, and the dimension of a protagonist is you in the mirror. So you better wake from the forest of the dead and the sedated dreams wherein you find yourself riddling yourself over your own head. Otherwise you'll be sentenced to death, convicted by yourself in an act of, well, a final moment's infringement on your last breath you'll regret. And I'm not saying you'll regret your whole entire life, just the last moment, because, well, as the execution is carried out, and your last breath is an exhale, this will be an unreality, because you'll still feel that same anxiety about the illusion of tomorrow and where you ought not, and maybe where you should be. But the supreme swindle of self over the eyes is that you believe the propaganda of the sages of society that astonished you at light speed in the metaphor of believing their greed dreams, that one day avarice and Aristotle will appease the metaphysics of self and the augmentation of what you ought to believe, and the butterfly effect of a smile is way more efficient of an allegory to metaphoric dream of that state, because a butterfly might flap its wings, but a smile will change the world. And this is where you ought to be drinking from, the well at the world's end, so smile and share it, because this is peace, and peace is equality. So live it. Let it become natural.